Well, good evening out there in STS land or YouTube land, whatever it happens to be. It happens to be March the 29th of 2026, and this is Sidetrack Sunday number 5 for the month of March. Welcome aboard. Let's see here. First thing I've got to do is get things rearranged here a little bit. I discombobulated myself on that pre-show. Holy moly. It's been one of those weekends. Let's just put it that way. Alrighty. Well, I've been watching the chat, and there's a couple of new folks that seemed like sitting out there, a couple of people that I know from the community, but there's at least one, maybe two that I don't recognize, and we'll get to them in a minute. As you know, we do have our moderators that are the ones in blue or purple with a wrench or a shield. I guess it depends on which stream you're looking at. Those are the moderators. They're here to help keep me in check or keep you in check and me straight. It doesn't work anyway, so we don't even bother. So, no, Roscoe, or I'm sorry, Martin. It's just been a long weekend. I spent, let's see, a total of 6 hours cleaning out the two-car garage. We're going to have the floor redone. So thanks to Rodney, he actually dropped off a trailer the other day or yesterday, and that worked out great. They're not coming out until the 13th of April, but yeah, having that here ahead of time was, it was good. I definitely needed that. What is going on? Sorry, didn't make the stream. What? Oh, geez. Artie can't catch a break. All right, so let's go ahead and yeah, Dave, that's pretty much, yeah, cleaning out the garage is basically what I did for the last basically day. So yeah, fun stuff. The funniest thing of it is I have a supposed two-car garage. Now, mind you, this house was built back in '56 when vehicles were a lot bigger than what they are now. I don't know how they planned on getting two vehicles into that garage. I really don't, because I had a heck of a time getting my wife's car and my truck into that garage last night with it basically pretty much emptied out. So there was barely enough room to walk around the vehicles. So anyway, I don't know how they plan on, yeah, exactly. 4 carloads of junk. No, actually, at Martin, it ended up being, let's see, a cabinet full of paint, a cabinet full of stuff for the automobiles, oils and antifreeze and things of that nature. And then the day I actually moved the parts cabinet out that I've got, which is where I keep all my loose screws. It's where I keep all my loose screws. Anyway, yeah, I moved that out. The workbench that's up in the garage, a lot of hand tools and things of that nature. Leftover tile from the last people that were here when they had the kitchen floor and the one bathroom redone. It's that kind of stuff. Are you nuts back at No, they're in that same cabinet. Yeah, pretty much, Rodney. It was full when you well, now the trailer's full. There's barely enough room to walk. And that's a good thing. All right, so now that I've gotten completely sidetracked and we're just getting started, oh boy. I can't hear you. If you can't hear me, Dwight, I don't. Are you muted? All right, let's see who all's in the chat tonight. Let's see. Over here, the participants list. We've got Mr. Almar and family up north. We've got Artie over at Osmerica. We've got Mr. Chuck Schreiber. We've got Dave over at DB Tech. We've got Mike over at Deep Run Railroad. We got James over at the Dundas Junction. We've got JD, otherwise known as Grandpa Rails. We've got Andy over at the Hot Dog Pilot. We've got Rodney, Rodney 25. We got Mr. Joe Rader over at the Block Rock Central. We've got John Train BFGR. We've got Mr. John Benacki. We've got Dwight over at the Curly Express. We've got Martin over at Life with Roscoe. We've got Michael Schuster. We've got Opa Dodge, the Model Train Outsider in the house. We've got me, although I doubt that I'm actually here. We got Mr. Ron Moen. We've got John number 2 over at the Schuylkill River Valley. And then we've got, I would imagine that's probably Dave over at the Stormy Sky Rail Productions. So welcome in, everybody. I thought I saw there was a couple other people, and if I didn't call your name, that's because you haven't chatted recently, and that's the reason why it skipped. It only shows me folks that have actually been active in the chat. So, anywho, yep, it's Dave. Hey, I had a 33% chance of getting that one. Oh, man. Doggy needs a comfort break. Be right back. Okay, yeah. Hey, there's Bill over at New Fenris. I'm not sure why it didn't show you in the participants list there, sir. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. And now you're in there. Hey, and there's Steven over at the Wigwag Workshop, otherwise known as 3Dub. Oh my goodness. So let's see. Everybody else is still kind of weird now. They're saying hi to the Stormy and the Steven. So all right. First thing I want to talk or touch on here is something that came up the other day, and I was actually talking to Cruise Rails in the house. Welcome in. Let's see. That would be. And thank you for Bob over the PK&W actually put stuff in order here. So let's see if Cruise Rail is in here. And that is Adam. Makes things a lot easier to find. So, any rate, there was something that came up the other day, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this and see what's happening. There is a new site out there. Now, before everybody gets off on a bad thing here, it is a Facebook-like site that is strictly for model railroads. That's it. There's nothing else in there. And one of the things that I think that they're looking for once they get enough of a foothold is they're probably going to, obviously, just like everybody else, because they got to pay the bill, they got to be able to keep the server up and running. They're going to probably start doing commercials. But from what I've seen and from what I've heard, that would be strictly railroad focused, period. So you wouldn't see ads for, sodas and food and, whatever else out there. It is strictly model railroading. So I am going to drop it in the chat so you all can go take a look at it. I've been using it for, I guess it's been about a week. Actually, it's been over a week because I think I actually signed up for it before I went on vacation. So it does seem to play very similarly to Facebook, with the exception of the fact that you don't have all the blasted, non-topic driven ads. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it may stick around, it may not. Who knows? I see that John Benacki is in the house. Let's see who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody else? If I did, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back down the list here. Let's see. Oh, Dwayne from Dwayne's Fork and Spoon is in the house. I'm sorry, sir. Good to see you. Let's see who else. Nope, no, that was basically it. All right, cool. That's going to be annoying as heck. I'm sitting here watching the YouTube side of this, and it is like way behind. Any rate, so if you're inclined, go check them out. I mean, it's like I said, it's been pretty interesting. They're trying to really be, like I said, strictly model railroad focused. They just put something up the other day. If there's an event or a train show or something like that, there is a specific spot on here that you can put that up. Things of that nature. So it's really looking good. I mean, like I said, it's still, I don't know how long this has been around, but it seems pretty cool. You're not as bad as Crooked Dave. Who's not as bad as Crooked Dave? Wait, what did I miss? I feel as though I missed something because I've been over here blabbing away. I'm not sure what was going on there, but okay. All right, so that was pretty much that. I mean, it's you're freezing sometimes, or is it my internet? No, it hasn't been that cold here. Sorry, but it must be your internet there, Dave. Reboot your router. Oh my gosh. Who is that? I feel as though I should know who that is that just popped in on my screen. That JDS 19K Benor. Who is that? That's going to drive me crazy now. It's Jason. Why don't we? You know what? I need to fix that. We need to fix that. HIJ. There we go. We're just gonna insert. There we go. I don't know why it did that. That's not where I wanted it. That's okay. We'll just drop it down there, and then we'll do this. JDS 19K. As long as my fingers actually hit the right keys, we'll be in good shape here. That's what happens when you've got sausage fingers. No comment from the peanut gallery. Sheesh. Not paying attention. Bangor Northern Railroad. All right, cool deal. Welcome aboard, Jason. Welcome aboard. All right, so that basically is that. Like I said, if you get a chance, go check it out. Take a look and see what you think. Like I said, it's that's not what I wanted there. I'm going to drop this in the chat again and see if it shows up correctly. There we go. All right, so there's that website. It's called Model Train Media. Like I said, if you get a chance, go check them out. And Army classification, freelance, very nice. Thank you for your service. One vet to another, I'm sure. Anywho, so that was that. So I'm going to go over to, let me see if I can screw this up. Let's see, share screen. That's what we want to do. Do. Window, entire screen. There we go. Boom. All right. I have it up. It's like a face space. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Dave. It's like Facebook, but it's specifically model trains. And like I said, so far it's been really cool. Like I said, I posted a few things up there myself, so it won't take him long to screw it up. Thanks for the vote of confidence there, Artie. I really appreciate that, buddy. Hey, at least I'm doing better than Rick did last week. Talking to himself for 14 or 18 minutes. Yeah, Model Train Media. Yep. Like I said, I dropped the link up there. All right. So, as you all know, or most of you may know, I was on a cruise with Dawn for her birthday earlier this month, and one of the places we went was St. Kitts, which is an island down in the Caribbean. It's the Eastern Caribbean. And what they used to have, and what this used to be, not a problem, Lauren, not a problem at all. That was the best show ever. Need to lift up our game. And welcome aboard. So anyway, we went to St. Kitts, and basically what this was, this used to be a sugarcane railroad. In other words, the train would be out towards the fields. They would load it up, and then they would take the sugarcane down to the ports. They don't do sugarcane on the island anymore. They still do, but not to the extent that they used to. So what they did is they turned part of it into a tourist railroad, which is pretty cool. So what it is they've got three different things that happen here. First off, you've got this dude in the speeder that goes around and makes sure that the track's clear ahead of the actual train. Then there's a guy in a pickup truck that actually goes to each one of the level crossings and drops the gates, because they don't have automatic gates on the island. And then, of course, there's the train itself, which you're going to get a chance to see. So this guy here is basically the safety advisor. He's going down the tracks, making sure that the tracks are clear. I think this was like a 2 to 2.5 foot gauge. This is just wild. I mean, if you look at this track is not exactly stable by any stretch of the imagination. Hey, Bob over at PK&W, welcome in, sir. So, that was the thing. So while we're waiting for the train, like I said, this guy shows up in the speeder. And then the next picture, here comes the train. And are you sure it's, oh, it won't show. Oh, there it goes. Are you sure it is a railroad or it's railways outside of the U.S.? Yes, it is. This is a railroad outside of the U.S. So that locomotive is pulling the actual cars. At any rate, the first car behind the locomotive is basically a generator car. So that's what provides electric for the air conditioning that they use on the train itself. So, which I thought was rather interesting. I've got a better shot of it. So there's, like I said, that first car where my mouse is, if you can see it, that's the generator car. And then this is a double-decker passenger car. Obviously air conditioned on the first floor, and, well, naturally air conditioned on the upper floor. Yeah, the paint scheme was really neat looking. I mean, that green, white, and red was really, really different. So, and what it is they've got people that are on there, they're going to get dropped off, and then there's buses or basically vans that take the folks back to either the resorts or back to the ships that were in port. So now we're on the train. I thought that I had another picture of the train in here. I guess I didn't. Sorry. Okay, so now we're actually headed across the mountain range that they've got there. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But you've got off to the right hand side. With the way we were going, off to the right hand side of us was basically the hills and the mountains, and literally to the opposite side is the ocean. Hey, Rick from the Fultz Bailey Model Railroad is in the house. The Canadian Mountaineer needs those cars. Oh, man. So this eco park was actually built on one of the sugarcane plantations. They've obviously repurposed it into a science center, a science area. I get looking at plants and the way that the environment on that particular island affects how things grow, which was one of the things that I found really interesting. Here it is on this trip. We went to Aruba, Carousel, Bonaire, St. Kitts, or St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and then we also stopped in the British Virgin Islands. And don't get nope. So any rate, the climate, where a lot of those islands is, it's really quite interesting. It's almost desert-like. And they talked about the fact that they really can't get a whole heck of a lot to grow. Although, if you notice, there are some flowering plants here, but it's not a whole lot. So this is just another picture of the facility. I'm sorry to hear that, Lauren. So, here it is. We're going along, and then, like I said, now you'll see these open fields where they used to have the sugar cane. I understand. Yeah, I've been there. So, you'd have these open fields, and then, of course, then you got the hills up in the background. We're actually headed, I think we were actually headed back. What they took us by van east, and now we're taking the train west, I believe. I could be backwards. I wasn't paying much attention to it. So they also, on these, where these sugarcane fields were before, they've also now got soccer and baseball fields, which I can't imagine trying to play any type of a sport unless it's in the evening or the early morning. Because it was freaking warm. I think their average temperature on these islands was between like 75 and 90. So, so that is another one of that's another island off of St. Kitts that's actually a part of St. Kitts. It's not inhabited. That was just a neat shot from the train. Of course, there's some livestock up on the hill here. That was one of the oldest churches on the island. There's a couple of them. I got two shots of that. Just a very unique looking building. That was the reason why I took a picture of it. I mean, especially with the ocean in the background, it was just like that. It was just a neat shot. At one point in time, and I think it's actually coming up, we went over a gorge. Now, let me back up a second, because I told you that this was 2 foot gauge, 2 foot, 2.5 foot, somewhere in that range. With double-decker passenger cars, which the railroad was never designed to handle. The rails were never designed to handle, okay? It was designed to handle freight. It was never designed to handle passengers. There were a couple of spots where I know that the cars were probably leaning at a good, I'm going to say probably 20 degrees. So, I mean, they were leaning and they were rocking. I mean, these cars were moving back and forth. I mean, it wasn't like the train was going fast, but it was definitely rocking and rolling. What got me is, and I think it's coming up, is there is a picture of a bridge that goes over one of the rivers that feeds into the ocean. That is, the bridge itself is, I think, 298 feet long, but it's 498 feet in the air. And it's like, yeah, like I said, these suckers are just bouncing back. I'm like, yeah, no, please settle down before we get on that freaking bridge. That was one of the plantation plants. That was where they would take the sugar cane and process it down, and then they would ship it out. To put it on the railroad and send it to the port. There's the ocean. Are you sure you didn't make the... Thanks, Artie. I was on the first floor. That was the day that Dawn got sick. That was the Saturday. Yeah, that was Saturday the 14th. I think it was. Yeah, we were the only two on the lower part of the car. Everybody else was up top. No, they don't, Dave. That is absolutely true. They do not. they do not. Oh man, there's the bridge. So it's just a box girder, and like I said, it's like 498 feet in the air. It's quite fascinating when you go over that son of a gun. There's another shot at one of the points that's going out into the ocean. This is all taken from the train. And then we finally get up to their rail yard where they turn. They basically had loops at both ends of the railroad, so they didn't have to worry about turning around. They just looped. And then it went back down the line. But this was I don't know if I got more. No, that was the last picture. I thought I had gotten another picture because they had a bunch of different equipment in that yard. I mean, there was a bunch of different stuff. You better believe there was a white knuckle ride over the bridge. And I was on the first floor. That was the interesting part. And I can feel this thing going back and forth. I'm going, yeah, this ain't good. It's not supposed to swing like this. Thanks, Rodney, buddy. Oh boy, what's this? No, I meant safety. If U.S. trains come off the rails, they're off the. Yeah, this is true. Where is it geographical from the United States? Southeast. So if you were to look in the Caribbean on the Atlantic side, hey, Ray and Tammy, how you doing? Mom and son rail fans, welcome in, Tammy and Ray. So if you're looking at the Caribbean, between North America and South America, towards the Atlantic Ocean side, you've got right above Venezuela, you've got Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, and then over towards the east is where you'll find St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and then the British Virgin Islands, or the BVIs as they call them. So it was a unique trip. I mean, the only thing that Dawn and I realized is the fact that unfortunately we're not getting any younger, and this was an island hopping trip. I mean, it was literally, we got on the ship on Monday the 9th in the Dominican Republic. And the next day, which was Tuesday, we hit Aruba. Then Wednesday, we hit Curacao. Then Thursday, we hit Bonaire. And then Friday, we hit St. Lucia. And then Saturday, we hit St. Kitts. Then Sunday, we hit the British Virgin Islands. And then Monday it was back to the Dominican. So yeah, I mean it was yeah. I'm saying nothing. Yeah. God. Oh Lordy. I knew that was going to stir the pot. I knew that one was going to stir the pot, especially with Artie in here. If it wasn't Rick, it was going to be Artie. Yeah, I don't know if it was. I don't think it was still there, Lauren, when we were just there a couple weeks ago. They didn't say anything about it. It was probably doing the same thing that the one on St. Kitts did, and that was transporting sugarcane from the fields down to the ports. Because I think that Carousel did the same thing. I think they had a lot of sugarcane. Now, the neat thing with Carousel is there is an alcohol that's called Carousel Blue, and we actually got to tour one of their distilleries. If you want to call it that. Was more there just for the for the tourists, but I hope you didn't damage them too. Artie, really? Well, the oil, yeah, that's right. There was an oil industry in Carousel. There was also an oil industry on Aruba too. Both are now defunct. So oh my gosh, Bill, really? Oh my gosh. Evening. It's the railroad enthusiast. Let me see if I can. That's Delmarva Rail fan. Okay. Gotcha. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, next topic. Good Lord. I wouldn't expect anything less from this group. This is the reason why I do this. What was I saying at the top of the show? The folks in blue are here to keep you all in check and me on track, and it doesn't happen. Well, here we go. Here we go. Any rate. Oh my goodness. Hey, Heath. Welcome aboard, sir. Who said Heath's name 3 times? I'm just saying. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you in here. Been a while. We gave up trying to keep you on track a long time. Yeah, well, I know. Yeah. It's a tall task. I get it. I get it. Oh, man. Heath's to blame for any shenanigans. Hey, I shenanigan once, I'll shenanigan and anyway. Okay, moving on. I'm not sure there is any moving on after that. I should have known better. Any rate. This is true. This is absolutely true, Artie. And mine is probably the most sidetrack of the 5 of us or 6 of us now. So yeah. Any rate, the Great Scale Model Train Show. I am going to talk about that for a minute. We started talking about sugar cane and made a left turn. Yeah, well. Oh. Oh boy. So the Great Scale Model Train Show in Timonium. There's already been the February show, obviously, which was right after Amherst. That was really bad timing. So I'll get back to that one, Dave. Hold that thought. So the next train show, the next Great Scale Model Train Show, is actually coming up in 2 weeks. It's on the 11th and 12th of April, and I still plan on going, though I know I'm going to have some last minute things I have to take care of at the house before the folks come in on the 13th to redo my garage floor. So Ray lost the rails before we started. Yeah, pretty much, Rodney. You got it. So I do plan on still going to that train show. Because of the fact that, like I said earlier, with the help of Rodney, bringing down a trailer the other day or yesterday for me to start loading, I'm actually ahead of schedule, which is great. That was a huge help, and now I don't feel as rushed to get. I didn't feel as rushed to get things out of the garage, and it's going to be the same thing getting things back into the garage. I can take my time and not have to worry about, I've got to get this back, I want to get it back to Rodney sooner rather than, but, I'm not going to be pressured to where I've got a 4-hour window to where I have to get, I have to get everything out of a truck to take the truck back. So anyway, that's the 11th and 12th. The big one. The big show. No, it's the big one. No, not that big one. The big Great Scale Model Train Show is the one in October, which, for whatever reason, is going to be Halloween weekend. That is October 31st and November 1st. Now, I've already talked to Joe Rader over at the Block Rock Central briefly about how we were going to do things, and we both agreed that last year with the way that we laid things out to where Saturday during the day or in the morning, somewhere around 11 to noon, we'll have the meet and greet at the food stand in the center hall. Somewhere around say 4-ish, we're going to go ahead and everybody can go over to Joe's house and see the Block Rock Central. And then somewhere around 5, everybody comes over here and be able to tour the B&N, and I'll go ahead and have some food brought in. That took care of Saturday, which, like I said, that plan worked really well last year, and we're going to do that again this year. Now, I've been thinking about making some other changes. The one thing that I've been wanting, or that I'm going to look into do, is because of the fact that it's the 250th anniversary of the United States, and I know that the B&O Railroad Museum cosmetically restored one of the locomotives for the Freedom Train. That's going to be a huge draw. So what I'm going to do here probably in the next week or so is I'm going to start putting together a Google Sheet like I did for the train show last year. And part of that is going to be getting a feel for how many people would want to come into town early and go down to the B&O Railroad Museum on Friday. So now the schedule would lay out to where we'd have the B&O Railroad Museum on Friday, the train show and the 2 open houses on Saturday, and then on Sunday, going back down to the Baltimore Streetcar Museum. So we would do 2 museum tours that weekend, basically. For those that don't want to do the museum, obviously you can go back to the train show. It's no big deal. There's nobody going to sit there and say, "Hey, you gotta come with us." You know, that's kind of what the thoughts are at the moment. Hey, model train aficionado, what's going on, Mr. Chris? Are you trying to get me over there for this event, Ray? Hey, invitation's open, my friend. So that's kind of the plans, is to do, like I was saying, just to reiterate, because I know we just had somebody pop in, is to do the B&O Railroad Museum on Friday, the 30th, do the train show on the 31st, and then with the 2 open houses, and then on the 1st of November, do the Streetcar Museum. Now, one of the things with the Streetcar Museum is the fact that the Streetcar Museum is only open on Sundays starting in September, I think it is. So that's the only issue with that. That's the reason why that would be on the 1st. So he's forgotten what I did in Baltimore. No, I haven't forgotten. I know we went up to the sawmill and saw Rick. We went to the train show. We hung out here for a bit. The heck else went on while you were here? Oh yeah, that was the first time that they went ahead and cut my department down. And Martin, that is perfectly fine. That is absolutely perfectly fine. There is nothing with what I'm putting together here, or that Joe and I are putting together, I should say. There's nothing saying that you have to do everything. I'm only putting it out there. I know it's early too, but I also want to start getting a feel, because the thing of it is here it is, March is almost over. We're going to be into April, and then the next thing that's going to happen, then there's going to be Memorial Day. Then we're with Mother's Day. Then we got Father's Day in June. You got the 4th of July, and it's just, it just, everything just, falls apart real quick. Next thing you know, it's Labor Day, and you're like, crap. I've got nothing set up. So I'm trying to get a little bit ahead of it. As Sparky would tell you, is the way to go. Start getting some feelers, start figuring out what's going on, figuring out who's going to be in town, so on and so forth. Hey, you know what, JD, I hear you. Uber would cost me a bundle. I think I'm out long week ahead. The Bulls of Denver. Oh, okay. Take it easy. No, and like I said, Martin, I completely get it. And it's not something that everybody can do everything. I get that. I'm just putting it out there. These are the things that we were that we're going to try to do and see what we can come up with. And because the other thing of it is I know that the B&O Railroad Museum, if you get, the more people you get, you can actually get in for a group rate, and they'll actually take you back through the back shop. All the stuff that's there is included. In fact, I think even a lunch is included. So there's a few of them around here, Chris. I will let me get some things together, and I will put that all on that Google form as well, or I'll put something up on my up on Facebook or on my community post, something. We'll figure it out. I'll figure out where to put it, and we'll go from there. There are quite a few hotels in the area here, namely because of the fact that the Timonium Fairgrounds is also the home to the Maryland State Fair, which is in the end of August, the beginning of September. So, like I said, there are places to stay around here. Some of them aren't as nice as others, but like I said, I can definitely get some recommendations together for that. Absolutely. I should probably be writing some of this stuff down, or I'll have to go back and watch. So that's the game plan. Not a problem, Chris. Hey, that's the reason. That's the reason why I'm trying to get ahead of this. I I'm not even. Evening, Dave. How you doing, buddy? Brother Sparky is in the house. Oh my gosh. Just made a oh, cool. All right. Dang it, it keeps jumping. I'll have to go check that out, Jason. Okay. Too cold for that sport. Yeah, you know what? October, yeah, I don't know what kind of weather you're going to get. You'll have to remind me of the dates. Absolutely. Not a problem. Like I said, I'll be putting out reminders, as I'm going along on on the episodes that I put out. Hold on. See, I didn't go there, but somebody else did. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You all are not right, and that's what makes us great. Holy moly. Oh. Yeah, any rate. So I hope the heck that trailer ain't still sitting here in October, Rodney. Oh my goodness. Any rate, so yes, I will keep everybody updated, and I'll get a list together of the different places around here. And I'm going to, it's funny, JD. I mentioned something to Dawn and Rachel about that one of the things that I need to find is a guest book so that I can go ahead and start keeping track of the people that come over here to see this monster or see this mess. Any rate. All right. So circling back to Dave over at DB Tech was asking about the roundhouse. So I've got and this is going to be coming up this week. I've got the 3 stalls, the bases, they're painted. I was going to try and glue them together, but realized I had a couple of things that I had to fix. So I've got that kind of straightened out. I should be able to line them up and glue them together. I started painting the linen color on the brick walls on the outside. I still have to figure out how I am going to make marks on the walls for the interior trusses on those brick walls. Hey, Rusty is in the house. There's Possum Bayou. Welcome in. You don't have a guest book yet? Plumber did it. Yeah, I'm sure he did, Sparky. Oh my gosh. Who are you chasing into the corner of a round? Oh man. You know the reason why ice hockey rinks have rounded corners? Because if they had 90-degree corners, the ice would melt. Any rate, yeah, no evidence you're safe. So any rate, that's where I'm at with the roundhouse. I've got the walls are all glued together. I did find another mistake that I went back and I'm in the process of fixing. Hey, Dave, Carolina Foothills, welcome in, sir. But yeah, that's kind of where the roundhouse is at the moment. Here's a good one for you. I'm going to mention it comes up in this week's episode, but I'm going to bring it up here since most of us are here anyway. One of the things that you have to have for the roundhouse is some 3/64 inch brass rod that you use to hinge the stall doors. And I found some on Amazon and was like, oh, cool. All right, great. Well, I ordered it on the 22nd of February. It was supposed to get here on March the 9th. Well, right before I left on vacation, they said, well, now it's not going to come until March 29th. Okay, fine, no problem. I'm not going to be here anyway, no big deal. So yesterday Friday, we were waiting for something else to come in, a cover for our patio furniture. And I get another notification saying that, oh, by the way, the brass rod is now not going to come in until April 11th to the 18th. And I'm like, the heck with this. So I went over and I actually found a place nearby, an Ace Hardware, that carried that 3/64 inch brass rod. The interesting thing about it was actually $2 cheaper than what it was coming from Amazon. So I went up Saturday before I came back here to unload the garage, and I picked up a package of it. Happened to be the last package that they had. And no, I didn't glue my fingers together. I saw that comment. No, there was an issue. If you've been following, I shouldn't say if you've been following it. I just started the roundhouse build. But if you know from previous episode, I had to cut down the first stall because it wouldn't fit between the turntable and the yard lead or the yard ladder. So in doing that, that meant modifying the side wall, the back wall, and the trusses that go inside of the roundhouse. Well, the other day when I cut down the sidewall, I cut it too short. And I was like, well, that sucks. And then I went back and looked again, and I'm like, no, I cut it right where it was supposed to. And then I realized that because I had issues printing out the back side or the second half of the floor, that I had actually not cut, but I didn't have the foundation piece that holds up the outer wall on that back end, and it goes beyond the actual stall. And I'm like, well, I guess I need to recut the brick for that wall. So I went ahead and 3D printed some extra parts. It wasn't so much that, Martin. It was an oversight because of the fact that I had modified that stall. And if I wouldn't have modified the stall, I would have been fine. So I went ahead and I printed out some thin, I'm not sure if that's really showing up real well, but I printed out 5 of these that I can go ahead and I can cut down and match up so I can take up the gaps, obviously. Now, these haven't been sanded. These just came off the printer. So, you know, I'm just going to piece it and get it to work, and then I'll have to cut it down. And this is what I'm talking about. On the back end of that that stall. So this here is where the floor would be. Over here, I'm sorry, over here is where the floor would be. This is the outside. This is where a set of steps goes. And if you notice, there's this piece up top here. That's for the sidewall to go out past the back wall. And I had forgotten about that when I cut that outer wall. So now what'll happen is, this is going to be probably tough to do, but and of course I used the wrong ones. It figures. But basically what you'll end up with is this here will actually hang out past the outer wall here, or the out past the platform, and then it'll just ride, because what it is on this piece, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but there's a ridge here. That's for the truss. And then the wall actually rides on this piece. So, and that's the reason why I say the wall goes beyond the back. This would be the back wall back here. So, yeah. So that's going to be the plan. I'm just going to have to, you know, move it over a little bit and we'll go from there. Ray, you know, we still use the Imperial. You know, I heard that the company that makes yardsticks isn't making them any longer. Exactly right. That's exactly kind of what I'm going to do is just, you know, like I said, I already modified that one wall. So now I had to print out some extra brick pieces to go ahead and actually bring it over. So, and not to mention the fact that that wall is on the other side. It's on the back. You're not going to see it. So it's not facing you. You're just going to see the interior side of it. So it still has to be somewhat neat, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh my gosh, you guys are too much. So this is one of the things that I was talking about, I think, on, hey, Mark Saunders, welcome in, sir. Been a long time. It's one of the things that I was telling somebody else about was, you know, yeah, I could go out and buy a Walters kit and go ahead and buy the thing and put it together, so on and so forth. Great. I knew that a normal sized roundhouse was not going to fit in that area. So I was going to have to modify a kit. Well, if I made a mistake like that on $100 kit, I'd be pissed. I would be extremely upset with myself right now, because it's like the only way you're going to get parts for it is to go out and get another one. So, you know, by having it 3D printed, I can go in there, modify it, cut it, change it, move it, whatever. So nothing normal ever fits for Ray, just saying. You know what, Dave? Sparky? But it's the truth. You know, to me, the 3D print world has opened up something that, you know, like I said, I mean, I've used almost a whole reel of filament, and then the power to go ahead and you know, for it to heat it up and to print it out, whatever. You know, I've got maybe 10 hours tied up in this thing. So, it's not like it's the end of the world, but like I said, I can go in there and I can reprint parts, I can modify parts to get what I need to go ahead and finish the project. And I'm really starting to understand, um, the benefits of having a 3D printer. Did you build it upside down? No, I didn't build it upside down. No, but I'm starting to see the benefits of having a 3D printer on hand to do stuff like that. To take somebody else's design, go ahead and modify it to be able to use it on my railroad. It's the same thing I did with the ice platforms that are going to be over at the warehouse. Those were originally on Thingiverse as N scale. So I went ahead and just scaled them up to HO scale, and then realized that when I did that, they didn't scale. It wasn't so much that it didn't scale right; it just didn't end up fitting with what, it didn't fit in that yard. What are the chances it will come out to? Wow. Rusty, to a point, you could, if you go down the rabbit hole, and trust me, you can really go down a rabbit hole. Because when I first got this thing and started figuring out how to use it, I was trying to print out all sorts of stuff, whether I needed it or not. And it was like, it got to the point, it's like, you know what, I need to stop. It was like when I first got on eBay, it was like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And it's like that this isn't healthy. This is not healthy. So, I backed off a little bit. Now I'm just printing out stuff that I know that I need, like the stuff that I wanted, like that low boy heavy haul flat car. I've always wanted one of those articulated long low boy flat cars. To go out and actually buy one, they're not cheap. So, the 3D print one, that was pennies on the dollar. It just worked out really well. I got what I wanted, and I didn't pay a lot for it. And again, if I screwed it up, I just went ahead and reprinted the parts. So, it really depends on what you're looking for. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of these 3D prints these days, the detail that's coming out in them is starting to rival some of the top end kits. I mean, it really is. I mean, if you take a look at the detail that's in the walls for this roundhouse, oh my gosh. There is some real detail there. So, it is really, really cool. Made a lot of woodworking things for exactly. Yeah. The alarm went off. That's the 9 o'clock alarm. Actually, I am going to have to go upstairs here in a little bit and get some more to drink. It's dry down here. Oh, man. But, like I said, I mean, it all depends on what you're looking for. I mean, it is, to me, I didn't think that the 3D print world was going to be something that I was going to, but one of the things I do enjoy messing with it. I wish that I wasn't in the position that I'm in at the moment, to where I could focus in on going in and playing around with some of the CAD programs and start designing some of my own stuff. That's the only downside right now, is the fact that I don't have, because of the fact that I'm trying to get stuff built, I'm trying to get things ready for October. I don't have the time to sit down and really focus on learning how to use these CAD programs. That's going to be the next step. That is definitely going to be the next step. So, yeah, Bill, like I said, I mean, it just opened up a whole new bag of worms. I mean, it really did. The whole 3D print world just opened up a whole new ball game. And now I understand why JD was talking about, and I know he was talking about the building over my left shoulder over here. The Willamine house. He was going to 3D print it. Now I can understand why. So, it is what it is. Would I love to be able to do that? Oh, absolutely. October of what you, boy, Martin, you are really on the ball tonight, aren't you? Wow. This year, 2026. Artie, really, buddy? Anyway, so that's basically where that's at. And then, of course, the project that'll be right behind the roundhouse will be the warehouse. I've still got some things I got to look into with that. I've got the parts. 26 plus 4 minus. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. These are the things that I put up with every so often. Yeah. Thanks, James, buddy. Anywho, so that's where that's at. It's like I said, I'm just bouncing from one project to the next. And with that, the scenery is going to come once I go ahead and get some of this stuff, some of these buildings taken care of. Then it's going to be going back and finishing up some of the scenery work that still needs to be done. Now that I've got that second deck, the interurban line is now pretty much 100% in place, ready to go. The only thing I've got to do at some point down the road is come up with that automation for it. But yeah, I mean, it's like now that I've got basically pretty much that second deck ready to go. Now it was time to go back and focus on Beauville Yard, get it straightened out, the roundhouse, the warehouse, and the car barn or the car repair shop. Those are the three big ones that I want to get knocked out here in the next month or so. Hey, Ron over at the SSW or the SW Railroad, welcome aboard. Yeah, I've got about 5 of them going on at the same time right now, Dave. I've got the roundhouse is the big one, the warehouse is the second one, and then the scenery from RBC Distribution over there south needs to be finished up. But like I said, the scenery itself, I'm not as concerned about. I wanted to make sure that I had stuff running. And as you all know, I did finally get my 2024-inch curved switch in. I still have to replace that. And once that's replaced, then I should be able to start, once I get the roundhouse put back in, I should be able to go back and start doing some op sessions again. And again, hoping that I might be able to get something like that set up for October. We'll see. Happy Valley Hobbies. I'm guessing must have just popped in, and that would be Mr. Ed. And there he is. Boy, I tell you what, Martin has been relentless tonight. Yeah, that's going to be. I'm guessing that you and Jack are headed back up there, JD. Eventually, I keep a list. I know what's on my list. I know the projects that I've got on my list. Yeah, not the horse. Right, exactly. I've got 3 going on right now with the layout, the miniatures from 40K and a layout from Woodland 6. Nice. Sweet. I understand that Johnny Railer and Rick the Tree, I think, are going to be headed down in October. But you can't hit me through. I wouldn't do that anyway, Martin. I wouldn't do that anyway. I'm used to it. It's one of those things. If it's not you, it's Sparky. If it's not Sparky, it's Dave. If it's not Dave, it's somebody in this chat, Artie, is going to pick on me. You know, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It is what it is. I would expect nothing less. And obviously, Dave's coming back down. That's good. Take it easy, Dave. We'll talk to you. So, yeah, Ron, we were just talking about a couple different things here, and you know, the big one is obviously the train show in October. That is going to be over the holiday weekend, the Halloween weekend. But you know, I'm going to be putting together some things, and you know, I'll go ahead and we'll figure out what's going to happen. But pretty much what it is Friday we would go to the B&O Railroad Museum. Saturday would be the train show, the layout tour over the Block Rock Central, and then the tour over here, and then of course dinner. And then Sunday is going to be down at the Baltimore Streetcar Museum. So that's kind of where we're at. So it's 10 after. I do believe that next week, which is the first show for April 2026, and that is going to be Brian over at the Iron Horse route. Hey, I can go ahead and take down March now off of the Facebook page. Hey, that's perfectly fine, Rodney. That's the reason why I'm trying to put all this stuff together. Put all this stuff together. There's bylaws. I didn't know we had bylaws. There's bylaws? Really? I thought we were just here to have fun and pick on me. That's exactly what okay, that's what Martin was saying. Yeah, we need to pick on Ray. Okay. Made up as we go, Edward. No, not Easter. Halloween, October. Jeez. Don't try and get me screwed up here. It doesn't take much. Oh man. So at any rate, like I said, next Sidetrack Sunday is going to be next week. Oh, that one is on Easter. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, next Sunday is Easter, and Brian over the Iron Horse route is going to run that show. I don't think he's going to dress up as a rabbit, so I don't think we have to worry about that. There, we don't have Fit got big fangs. You had to go there, Artie. Come back here, you silly English nigget, so I can dunk you a second time. Okay, so we've officially hit silly hour. Let's not go to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. Oh, man. Anywho. So that's basically all I've got for this week. And like I said, Brian over the Iron Horse has got next week, which is Easter Sunday. hopefully you all get a chance to hang out with Brian next week. And you all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. Be safe. God bless. We'll catch you all next time. See ya.